Victoria Road runs up from Swindon New Town Centre to Old Town, ending on the Bathroom Mini roundabout junction, thus linking the two towns. It runs through a primarily residential area with a mix of houses, some local shops and various amenities. It is approximately 1 mile long. While it isn't one of the longest roads in Swindon, it is a key thoroughfare in the historic Old Town with many noticeable buildings and local amenities located along or near its length. The road is named after Queen Victoria, as many streets in the UK were named in honour of her during the period of her reign. Thus, it dates back to the Victorian era, specifically around the mid to late 19th century. The road is likely to have been developed during the time when Swindon was experiencing significant growth due to the expansion of the railway industry, which began in the 1840s. Victoria Road is possibly approaching 150 years old, depending on its specific date of development. The street forms part of the broader historic landscape of Swindon. The oldest building on it is likely to be a Victorian-era terrace house or a similar property. The houses along Victoria Road were likely built in the late 1800s, possibly during the 1860s to 1880s, when the town grew rapidly due to the influence of the Great Western Railway. It has a residential character since the area around Victoria Road is known for its mix of Victorian terraced houses and some more modern and even ugly brutalist style properties. Many of these homes have been preserved or renovated, contributing to the historical charm of the area. There are some local amenities. In addition to residential homes, there are small shops, cafes and other services along or near Victoria Road. The Old Town area also offers parks and green spaces, which are attractive to families or those seeking a quieter lifestyle away from Swindon's town centre. But remember, there's an uphill walk if coming from Newtown. Victoria Road is well connected by public transport, with local buses running through the area. The street offers a blend of historic charm and modern convenience, making it a desirable area for those looking to live in the heart of Swindon's Old Town. Let's take the trip down Victoria Road, shall we? Well, as we start, to the left is a 1960s style dreary looking office block with a few shops below. To the right, on the opposite side, is the attractive head office of the Swindon Advertiser and other associated papers. This building is known as Newspaper House. Opposite that, to the left, is the main post office, a charming pre-World War II multi-storey brick building. Next to that is an attractive bar and grill. This white pre-war building is called Victoria Chambers. On the opposite side of the road, adjoining Newspaper House, are more commercial premises in very attractive sandstone architecture, a bit like those in Bath, one can say. The left-hand side adjoining Victoria Chambers appears to have been added on in the 1950s or 1960s. Heading on, we come to the first junction and see on the left the head office of BBC Wiltshire, a characterless 1960s office block. On the opposite corner is the attractively olive-coloured Long's Bar in its Victorian style. This used to be a pub in its day. Over the next 200 yards on both sides, there is nothing apart from an array of commercial properties in typical Victorian terrace housing style buildings. Some new additions in fake style have been added. They stand on the right and appear to be residential. One noticeable building just before the bend on the left is Craven House, belonging to the Swindon Blind Association. This is a separate brick building providing some sought after greenery in this mostly urban scene. The road veers left at 90 degrees at this point. There are some very interesting premises on the very bend to the right. There are no brick walls on the facade on the ground floor. It's an open concourse where several used cars would be displayed for sale by various dealers in the past. In fact, my brother brought a car from here in the 1970s. Heading downwards, still on the right, are some large semi-detached attractive Victorian properties, most of which are commercial, belonging to solicitor firms or similar. On the left is a 1970s office building of red brick, which looked great in its day, but nowadays is perpetually waiting to be let, or perhaps sells as residential properties. I am sure that once inside, it provides a great vantage point to Swindon New Town and beyond. Behind it is a building appearing to be part of Swindon Probation Service. Next door to this complex is the White Regent Hotel and Pub, which brings back many personal memories. I spent many a lunchtime and evening drinking here with colleagues and attended one or two family functions as well. This is an attractive Victorian building. The last 400-yard stretch of Victoria Road is in a straight line and runs downhill, as does most of Victoria Road heading in this direction. The left-hand side provides more attractions, as if that's the word. On both sides are large Victorian terraces of a residential and commercial nature. Some trees too on the right, providing much needed greenery. Passing the cross street and Barton Terrace junction, the architecture changes little, though the bay-windowed properties, particularly on the left, are a pleasure to look at. The beautiful large white bay-windowed terrace properties resemble that of an English seaside town. They are flanked by two restaurants, a building which appears to be under construction, and a tall DIY store at the end. No marketing here, so no names mentioned. Perhaps the largest and grandest building of all is almost at the foot of Victoria Road to the left. This large Victorian building used to belong to Swindon College as far as my mind goes back. It's called Burkhardt Hall. I'm not sure if that's the name it has always had and what its purpose now is. However, according to Google, its use is now residential. There are a few more large terraces on the left heading towards the bottom, while the right hand side livens up. First of all, I used to go to the barbers as a teenager to Arthur, who rented a room in either 179 or 181 Victoria Road, but that was a long time ago. Needless and sad to say that Arthur and his barber shop is no longer. To the right are a few more restaurants and ending what used to be the United Reformed Church. Is this church building still in use? Please tell me. I culminate this trip at the bottom of Victoria Road and to the monument standing in the central island commemorating the tragic tram tragedy of 1906, the exact place where the tram lay. I wonder if today's Swindonians are familiar of its historical importance to the town. That's the end of the Victoria Road tour going downhill. Let's view the road going uphill. Hello, I'm John and welcome to John's Box, my YouTube channel, and to the 4th of 10 editions on Swindon roads and streets. You've been watching, Victoria Road, all about it. Previously, the Magic Roundabout, Queen's Drive, and recently the M4 motorway running through Swindon have all been featured on this channel, so you may want to click on the link at the beginning of the video to see those videos. I do have some personal memories of Victoria Road. Most recent, apart from the fact that my barber was based there in one of the buildings which was mentioned in the video. I think maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago I ran the Swindon half marathon. If you've ever run that, it's a bit late. You'll know that the last mile and a half perhaps starts at the top of Victoria Road and runs straight down into the town centre, and it's a very fast stretch of road where you can pick up speed as long as you've got the energy left to do that. And it certainly brings in a lot of satisfaction. I used to train there quite often running up the hill and down the hill to fetch a pail of water. Anyway, in the next edition, it'll be the turn of the Stratton bypass, the A419. And by the way, if you know, or if you live in Victoria Road, if you often visit it, you may want to mention that in the comments. And by the way, I hope you like or dislike dislike this video. Now, before we finish, there's just two more things which will follow my mono twaddle, if you like, and that is about the Swindon tram disaster of 1906, followed by, I found this on the internet, a Swindonian's personal reflection on Victoria Road. It's quite interesting, but it's done in AI, because it would have meant I'd spend more time on doing it.
Or we
so I
will
have to look
take
after
over
my
your
voice
channel.
because I'm in teaching. So you may want to hang on and check that out. Both of them take about 6 minutes in total.
Just be careful
so that's it
what
from
you
me.
say, or we will take over your
And now
channel.
it's over to them, whoever they are. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video on John's Box, and don't forget to do all your usual YouTube things. Bye for now. Oh, I forgot to mention Victoria Road on the map somewhere there. Well, you can find it out also on Google Maps there. Thank you, good night, or goodbye if it's morning, whatever. See you soon.
On the 1st of June, 1906, the number 11 tram was travelling down Victoria Road. The tram was crowded with passengers who had just spent a day at the Bath and South West Counties show, which was held at Broome Manor Farm. The tram was licensed to carry 58 passengers, but reports at the time estimate that between 70 and 80 were aboard. As the tram made its way down the steep hill, its brakes failed, and when it reached the sharp bend into Regent Street, it overturned. The Western Gazette reported, Lyons, the driver, stuck to his car to the last. He is said to have been an experienced motorman. He received some slight injuries to his side, but soon recovered. Lyons declares that he put on his brakes on reaching the hill, and applied them as hard as he could. He never let his foot off these until the car toppled over, and did all that he could to avert the disaster. There was an absence of screaming, one and all awaiting with a grim quietness the denouement which all felt was bound to come. The passengers on the top were precipitated into the road like stones out of a catapult, some being thrown a considerable distance. There was a great many people about at the time, and for some moments the greatest consternation prevailed. A few cool heads were soon on the spot to render assistance. The shrieks and groans of the injured filled the air, and one spectator says that blood ran into the gutter in streams. Scarcely a single passenger escaped without injury, although one or two who saw their danger had jumped off before it was too late. A doctor who lived nearby was one of the first to reach the gruesome scene, and was soon joined by 4 colleagues from the Great Western Surgery. Ambulances were used to take the 35 injured to Victoria Hospital in Oakers Road, Old Town, and sadly 4 of those died: Harry Dyke, a brewer's agent from Goddard Avenue, E.H. Code, the licensee of the railway in Newport Street, Roland J. Thurnford, a farmer from Draycott Cerne, and Charles Phippen, a Somerset County councillor who lived in Bath. One other man, Thomas Neat, also from Bath, died of his injuries 6 weeks after the accident.
My Street Challenge, Victoria Road. It seems to be cloudy most mornings when I go out to take photographs for my street challenge, and today was no exception, but if I don't go out to do this early in the morning, then there would be too much traffic about. Victoria Road is a very busy road that connects the Old Town area of Swindon to the New Town area, down the hill. Originally it only went from Bath Road to Prospect Place, a very short distance, and was known then as Victoria Street. But it was agreed to extend the road so that old and new towns could be accessed easily, so the new road was constructed in 1875 and descended through gardens and orchards. At this time, it was just known as New Road and was later renamed Victoria Street North, as it extended north down the hill. However, in 1903 both sections were renamed Victoria Road and commemorates Queen Victoria, with Albert Street running parallel. At the top of the hill was a terrace of 3-story houses in a vaguely Italianate style, and although from first floor level they remain the same, most of them have now become shops. The best example of one of these terraces is now an office for the Swindon Advertiser, the local newspaper, shown in the collage at the top left, which is still in existence today. Interestingly, Richard Jeffries from My Jeffries Avenue blip contributed to the Swindon Advertiser as a journalist and lived nearby, and I never knew there was a plaque until today. In the 1850s these houses were owned by some of the town's most prosperous and prominent businessmen, and in about 1849, William Morris, who was a bookseller and stationer, moved into Victoria Street, where 5 years later, in 1854, the first edition for this 4-page tabloid monthly, the Swindon Advertiser, were printed on stiff paper, using a hand press. When stamp duty on newspapers was repealed the following year, the newspaper became a weekly, and in 1861 it began to be printed by steam power, using a boiler and engine built in the Swindon works of the Great Western Railway when it had a circulation of 5,000. It has been published daily since 1898. There are several public houses in Victoria Road, the oldest of which is known as the Vic, and on the other corner is Long's Bar. I do wish they would get their act together, as it just says Long's Bar, and also the Regent, but Mr. HCB, and I have never been in any of them. In 1891 William Clark moved from a house near the railway works to Oxford House at number 57 Victoria Road, where he worked as an accountant and debt collector, and his 3 daughters also worked in the financial business, quite something in those days. Today, despite numerous planning applications, Oxford House is boarded up and is derelict at the bottom right of the collage. It looks as if it could be a beautiful house, but who knows what will happen to it in the future. The former technical school, almost at the bottom end of Victoria Road, has been closed for some years, and is now in the process of being renovated into apartments, shown at the middle left of the collage. The large, gabled 3-story brick building was built in 1895, in Flemish Baroque style, and dominated Victoria Road. It was a purpose-built technical school, classes for which had previously been run by the Mechanics Institution. It was opened in 1896, and until 1952 the Technical Institute in Swindon was also a day secondary school for boys. After 1897 it also admitted girls, and scholarships were granted so that children who lived outside Swindon could also attend. Over the years, several additions were made, and in 1961 the new part of the college opened, which was in Regent Circus, but this was demolished in 2006. A First World War memorial window in the college was moved to Swindon College, which is located in North Star Avenue on the other side of the town.